Good morning, it's Norma Cowie. I welcome you to my YouTube channel. Can you believe it's the 5th of January already? I don't know where the last 4 days have gone, but they have gone. And so here we are beginning a new year. I took the Wednesdays off, the Christmas Day and New Year's, just to kind of ease into getting ready, I guess you could say that, for 2025. Now, I've spoken about how 2025 is a number, adds up to number 9, which is an ending time and an ending being. But that doesn't mean that we don't do our goal setting. This is a great time for sitting down and figuring out what are my goals for this coming year. Oh, excuse me. In my little book, Spiritual Principles of Wealth, when I'm talking about goal setting, I say there's to be personal goals, again, like relationships, holidays, weight loss, etc. Career and work goals. Where do you want a promotion, a new job, a higher salary? What is it that you're really wanting? Also, material. Like, what do you want in the material world? A new car, a house, different clothes, whatever. What is it? Take courses, all those different things. And then your spiritual goals. Do you need more patience? Do you need to feel more connected? Do you need to meditate more? All of those different kinds of things become important. So when you sit down to do your goals, for which you probably have done by now because it is the 5th, I'm a little bit behind somehow, but that's probably because this is the first Sunday and we're already 5 days in. Pretty soon we'll be 10 days in. It's going fast already. Now, one of the elements here is the importance of goals. A lot of people forget how important it is, how important that you're clear in your mind what you want to have in your life. If we don't have clarity, if we don't sit down and have a sort of a definitive idea of what we want to create, because a lot of people think they don't have any power over what their creations are. And to some degree, that is correct, because things happen over which you have no control. What you have control over is how you respond. No matter what it is, it's how you respond to each and everything, or how you react, how do you handle it, how do you deal with it, because that is the vibration that sets up. I didn't realize I was going to be coffee this morning, so I don't have any water, any tea, or anything, because I was fine. But this happens often when I sit down to talk for some reason. So I've got hair hanging up, and I thought I was all ready. Would you believe that? Yeah, it's like charging up you remember the old days and my olden days when they had to crank up your car to get it started. That's how it's like, okay, we got to get cranked back up again now and get back on the saddle, so to speak, which is fine. I don't mind that at all. I've done a lot of thinking about this, but I'm a reader, so I've had my nose in a series of books, and consequently, very often things have gotten put off being done because I want the storyline to continue. So what we're talking about here is getting your goals in line and the importance of them. One of the things that I find people miss the most when they're goal setting is making a decision is going to be. You see, the mind has a lot happening. We all talk about the subconscious mind. The subconscious has mega things happening and going. But your conscious mind is the one that says, I want to go this way, or I want to go that way, or I want to do this or that. Your conscious mind is what's really important because it's present. Subconscious mind is full of all those old decisions that you've made, maybe even lifetimes ago. And consequently, it is sometimes a sense of sitting down and saying, okay, what's going on in here? Now, I find because I studied this for a lot of years, a lot of books, a lot of trying to figure out how do we create? How do we create? And there's a number of steps and there's a number of concepts or ideas that you can put into it to really understand how to create. Number one is when you have your list, and remember, I have talked about this before. I took a course where it said you need to make 100 goals, 100, and then figure out what your main top ones are. Took me forever to realize at that point that instead of being very clear about my goals, I had like a subject. I want to travel, but it didn't put where I wanted to travel to. Being way too open with them, way too big, and to be able to bring them down and be able to be more clear. So to sit down and write 100 goals, I tell you, it's not the easiest thing in the world. At least it wasn't for me. And every time I grappled with that, it wasn't easy. I could get to 60, 70, but then I'd go over them and find I would have a sort of a too broad of a topic and it wasn't specific enough. So that's something to watch for. Are you being specific? Are you being specific in what you actually are really wanting? The other thing I found for myself, and I hadn't really read this anywhere that I remember, but the key for me was to decide it will be. It's kind of like you write down, oh, that's really nice. Yes, I would like that or whatever. But if you make a decision, this is going to be what happens, things emerge, you might say, out of the soup of life. And then you get to figure out, yes, I want this part, or I want that part, or I don't want this, or I don't want that. But it's very much, and I found when I talk about goal setting to people, have you decided, I want to change my job? Have you decided to change? Do you know roughly where you want to go? Most people don't. They just, I want to change. Unfortunately, that could be detrimental because you want to change. So the job may be terminated, or you may find that you're terminated or something. You got to be specific. The more specific you are in a goal, the better it is. The other important element is that you decide it will be. So there's no ifs, ands, and buts. There's no maybes or perhapses. Now, I did want to talk a little bit about today, and I see the time I usually allot for this is almost gone. I just wanted to bring this as that sometimes we make a decision and it's what we want, and then all of a sudden everything collapses. And that happened. That happened to me many years ago when 9/11 happened. I'm just going to quickly tell you this story because I had set up to attend a conference and travel from there doing some presentations. I had airfares booked, quite a lot of them. I was at the border. Was I at the border already? Or a girlfriend of mine who I was supposed to be meeting in Wisconsin actually was at the border when we heard 9/11 had happened. And actually the airplanes, we were looking out and watching the big airplanes coming into land in Vancouver. And I moved actually to where my daughter was babysitting her nieces. And we watched these big planes come in. I was supposed to be already going down to Seattle I think, was I leaving from Seattle that time? Not sure. I know I was taking my friend to the border to catch the bus. But anyway, what happened was, this was my personal experience, that whole trip, of course, got busted out. But I had air tickets all over the place for this tour I was going to do that all of a sudden now wasn't working out. Consequently, I was in debt for a lot of air travel that never got taken. And my accountant at the time said to me, Norma, I'm going to suggest you go for personal bankruptcy on this because this is not going to go away easily. And so, much to my chagrin and embarrassment, I did. I declared personal bankruptcy. And this is a lot of years ago. We'll think about it. It was 9/11. So, where we go. September 11th, way back when. But what happened from that for me was I learned a whole lot of new things. I learned to hold my head up proudly over something that I was embarrassed about, put embarrassment aside, get on with life, get on creating and doing what I needed to do, staying focused on what my goals were, where I was heading. And of course, time ticks by. Many years have gone by now since then. And I got back on my feet and did some traveling. But also another thing in there was is that there was another situation that happened. I'm trying to think what it was. I was traveling down to California to do something. All right, I was attending some courses, and something had happened again, and everything was all crazy, and everybody was scared of flying. Maybe it was the same, but, or some other. I think it was something else though, because this was later, and I didn't travel out for a long time after the 9/11 thing. But everyone was nervous of traveling. And so, what I found was, which was really interesting, is a lot of people that you thought have their philosophical element intact, their belief system, their awareness that no matter what, you will be okay, went out the window. And it's really when things become mass hysteria in the population or the people, uh, is that it ends up being like over much, like too much. Maybe I was going to say overwhelming. Overwhelming is really the better word. Just too much, and consequently, very often people forget basics. What are you thinking? Yes, accept how you're feeling. Use your rationality to, we're not governed by emotion. Emotion is our body telling us, oh my God, what's going on? But your rationality can say, okay, yeah, this is going on, but we're safe. This is going on, but we're all going to be okay. So, what messages are you giving to you? So, I kind of got a little off topic from where I was going, but really, what I wanted to say in this beginning week of 2025 is to ensure that you're clear on what your goals are for this year. Be sure that you are aware that's what you really are wanting. And sometimes we think we want this, and it's the bigger picture, not the finite picture, not the small picture. Make sure you're going for the end result that you really, really want. And that all part, whether it's personal, career, material, like material is just things, I don't need too much of those anymore, but spiritual, keeping on, making sure that you're connected. I find sometimes I get lazy like everybody. The shows keep me on target a little bit, which is great, especially Monday night. So everything has its purpose and its relationship. So your life is an out picturing of you. And sometimes we just have to take a look at that. What are we out picturing? What are we doing? What are we giving away? Or what are we taking? How everything is working. I just want to say it's great for me to now today, realizing that Sunday we're back in the harness, and I will be back tomorrow night for mental mind treatments, and then on Wednesday I will be back with the talk. So I'm really wishing you well for this year. And before I turn off, I just want to say thank Maggie G for saying Happy New Year and blessings for this coming year, which I thank you for. Yvonne, good morning. Happy New Year to all. Yeah, everyone, whoever watches this for the next few while. And Chris Turner, hey, no, Norma, hair looks longer. Yes, it is. Looks nice wearing it down. Thanks for the goal setting tips. Well, I did a lot of that too last talk, I think a couple of Wednesdays ago. But anyway, yes, we need to remember. We forget sometimes. We get so caught up in how we want things to be. We forget how are we really creating. We create it. We create things. We are not. Most of us go along, and sometimes like things like happened to me being down at the Blaine border with a friend and finding out that 9/11 had happened, and that, I'm going to say wave, that wave affected my life for a number of years. And sometimes it's hard to believe that something has nothing to do with me, and in a reality sense has an effect. So sometimes we are responding to the effects that things are happening in our lives. And I had to reorganize my life totally at that time. I had to stop and reconsider and relook and reorganize what were my priorities, where was I going, what did I want to represent, and many things changed. Many things changed. So sometimes these things are, in the long run, when you look back, they're okay. Oh, I did pick up a little God card today to give me a sense of where I'm going, and I had to laugh because the first one, that there's two sides, was says, "Ask and you shall receive; seek and you shall find." That's this was one here. Put that close enough that they can see it. I just cracked out when that came. And on the other side, it says, "Up your acceptance level. I love myself. I am now willing to receive my good." I don't know if you're going to be able to see all of this one because the line, there it is much better. To receive my good. That is in metaphysical terms. We use that a lot. You're good. I'm going to receive my good. In other words, the good things we want, the good things. But it's all good because even when it's not so good, it brings something to you. It makes you aware of something. It brings something else to look at and to consider and to be. So in the meantime, go have a great day, great week, whatever's waiting for you. And I shall see you tomorrow night again for mental mind treatments. Blessings. Bye now.